on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamiza.
Good morning and assalamu alaikum. It is the 3rd of February. The time is 10 o'clock and you're listening to Inspire FM 105.1 FM with me, Shamiza, taking you all the way up to 11 o'clock. It's an absolute pleasure to be in your company. In particular, if you're listening in from Luton surrounding areas, Peterborough Salon Radio and Sheffield's Link FM. Hope you're well, warm and winning wherever you are tuned in from. Be that in your car, at home, or even on Facebook. Yes, you can catch the conversation on Facebook, Inspire FM's Facebook, and you get to have the opportunity to leave any comments that you might have regarding the show. The show today you're listening to is no other than the Urban Cube. Now, this is a show that celebrates arts and lifestyle. And also we get the chance to speak to fabulous guests having creative conversations or conversations around their fabulous organizations. These are trailblazing Muslims making a difference to us locally, nationally and internationally. And on today's show, I'm not joined by one, but two fantastic guests, and I'm going to tell you who they are very, very shortly. As always, if you want to join in with any of the conversations, then please feel free to do so on 07779 481822. We always love to share your positive comments or just your interactions on the show. And if you'd like to leave any comments on the Facebook page, you're very welcome to do that as well. And that is the Inspire FM Facebook page. Now, I hope you are all good folks and your start of the week has begun brightly. I always have the absolute pleasure of being in your company on a Monday morning. Now, you will get to have more of me on Inspire FM because I'm going to be leading some very exciting projects. And one of them is the Ramadan cooking program. You might have heard a bit of a snippet on our advert earlier, but just before the show. So that is basically getting you to share the recipes that have been handed down to you by family members, or it could be a new recipe that you're wanting to try out across Ramadan for iftar and suhoor. So do send them over. We would love to share those on the Ramadan airing of our show on Inspire FM, and we're going to be kind of reaching out to many of you, and I'm really, really excited to be working on this project. So I look forward to hearing from you, and maybe our guest today might share a Ramadan recipe with us as well. We might do a little bit of an exclusive with them. They don't know that I'm going to plant this on them, but it's all good, right? So today's show, as always, is all about celebrating wonderful initiatives led by our communities across not just Luton, but across the country as well. And today I'm joined by two extraordinary sisters who are really making their mark and making a huge difference with an organization called Isharah. Now, Isharah is a deaf service provider whose main focus is to provide education, inclusion, and equality for the deaf community. The organization goes above and beyond to make Islam accessible through providing Umrah packages for deaf Muslims and a translation of the Holy Quran in British Sign Language. MashaAllah. Now, I was looking at the facts around the deaf communities across the UK. And according to Hearing Link UK, they shared that hearing loss statistics in the UK is 1 in 5 of the UK adult population is affected by hearing loss. 8 million of these are age 60 and over, and 6.7 million could benefit from hearing aids, but only 2 million people use them. That is an extraordinary fact, and over 900,000 people are severely or profoundly deaf, and this was according to Hearing Link UK. So it's with great pleasure that I'm joined by two extraordinary sisters from Isharah, this amazing deaf service on the show today, this morning, to talk about how deafness impacts the Muslim community and why it's important to engage and encourage and provide education and equality and inclusion for the deaf community, mashallah. On the show this morning, I'm joined by no other than Nazma Begum. She's a project lead, and Hansa Mahmood, who's a donor management, to talk about Isharah, mashallah. Assalamu alaikum, Sister Nazma. Thank you so very much, Sister Nazma. I don't know if Sister Hansa is on the line as well.
I am. I don't know if you can hear me.
Okay, so mashallah, Nazma, I can hear you very loud and clear. The irony, hey? Thank you so much, Nazma. It's an absolute pleasure for you to join me to talk to me today about Isharah. Now, I do want to say to our listeners this morning, Sister Nazma is actually doing me a massive big favor this morning because she has replaced somebody else and joined me last minute. So she is at home and you will hear lots of sound effects, I believe. She's not in the office. So I do apologize if people are hearing a bit of interference. Sister Nazma, how are you this morning? And tell us where you're speaking from.
Yes, good, thank you. Can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you.
Brilliant, awesome.
I can hear the I can hear the TV behind as well.
Oh, okay. Hansa, I think maybe, do you want to mute for a second? Yeah, so
yes,
we're in two different locations. So Hansa's in the office kind of environment and I'm at home today. I've got a little one and as you know, we're just filling in for our operations manager who just fell unwell last night. So hopefully, yeah, please make dua for him that he has a full recovery, and then we will do our best as much as we can to represent Isharah, inshallah.
Mashallah, you know, and it's that's what it's all about, isn't it? It's helping one another and just supporting each other in the times of need. And this is something that you guys do so effectively. May the brother have a speedy recovery, and we'll get him back on, because when I came across Isharah, I was introduced to this wonderful organization by a wonderful sister called Tahira Begum. Yes. And I was absolutely blown away. And I understand she's a volunteer for the organization. And I'm going to let you, in your own words, Sister Nazma, tell us a little bit about Isharah.
Yes, so it is truly a very unique and an amazing organization, as you have mentioned. We are a UK-based charity, and we are dedicated to providing Islamic education, access and support for the deaf Muslim brothers and sisters in our community. Our mission is to break communication barriers and ensure that our deaf brothers and sisters can learn, practice, and connect their faith, just like the hearing counterparts of the rest of the Muslim community. Just imagine you couldn't hear the adhan.
Subhanallah.
So how are now our deaf brothers and sisters supposed to learn about Islam, worship Allah, talk to Allah? How are they supposed to make dua? So this is where we come in, Isharah, to help our deaf brothers and sisters to understand how to practice worship and communicate with Allah, just like all of us are able to. And it is a absolute privilege to be part of this charity, and very grateful to be part of it.
It sounds extraordinary, but I want to ask you, Sister Nazma, how did you become the project lead, and what drove you to apply for this position?
Okay, so I think I started volunteering, I think maybe 8 years ago now, and it was because I came across the project, the British, the Quran, the translation of the Quran in British Sign Language, and I was just blown away by it. At the time, I just, had a friend that introduced me to the charity, and I didn't think anything of it. I just went along, supporting her, and then, I see that the charity was launching the Quran during Ramadan. And it was just so timely. And for me, it was such a personal way to join, because I resonated. It for me was that I think when I was 14, I came across the English translation of the Quran, and I was so blown away by it, because I thought, oh my God, we get taught to learn in Arabic, we get to read the Quran, the Juzamma, but we have no idea what we're reading. And I just thought, wow, this is incredible that I'm able to now understand it. And I think I took this along with me throughout my adult life. And I think at 18, I actually went to a shop in Green Street and I bought a translation of the Quran, and I read it. And I remember someone telling me the Quran is the guide to your life. And I took it with me, just those words. And I thought, this is the guide to my life, and I will use the Quran to become the person I am. Alhamdulillah, it was very, insightful, and I was able to just use those words and guidance that Allah has given all of us. And when I came across the British Sign Language Quran, I just thought, this is my turn to give back to people that are not blessed with hearing, but they are Muslims, they are our brothers and sisters, and we are here to worship Allah. This is our purpose in life. So I thought, it'd be incredible if I can help others to also learn about Islam and worship Allah in the way we all should. So that's how my journey began. And it just, year on year, I was able to fundraise, was involved in so many different projects. And it's just been an incredible journey. And at the moment, I think what we're trying to do is we are trying to launch an app for the deaf brothers and sisters that can be able to use their phone to be able to understand or know when the adhan goes off for prayer times, or
so would that vibrate then for them?
Yes, exactly. Mm-hmm. Vibrate, or it will have the light going off, things like this. And also like du'as, accessible Quran. We've got our surahs already released, some of them on YouTube, on our channel. So hopefully they will be able to access these surahs, the British Sign Language Quran, on their phone, just like we're able to do so from various apps that are on the market.
It sounds extraordinary, and it sounds as if you're really keeping up with the technology as well, to make this opportunity for our deaf community, our deaf brothers and sisters, inclusive and equal. Mashallah. Folks, if you've just tuned in, you are listening to the Urban Cube Show, and I am joined by the absolutely fantastic organization called Isharah, which is a deaf service provider whose main focus is to provide education, inclusion, and equality for the deaf community. Now, the organization goes above and beyond to make Islam accessible through providing Umrah packages for deaf Muslims and a translation of the Holy Quran in British Sign Language. I'm joined today by two wonderful members of Isharah. They are no other than Nazma Begum. She is a project lead, and you've been listening to her. And I'm also joined by Hansa Mahmood, who's a donor management, who's part of the donor management. Hansa, I hope I pronounced your name correctly. How are you this morning, sister? Oh, Hansa might have muted herself. Sister, can you hear me?
Can you hear me now? I can hear you.
Yes, I can hear you, Hansa. I think you're in the office. Sister Nazma did say you're in the Isharah office this morning. So, assalamu alaikum, sister, and how are you?
I'm good. How are you?
It's quite difficult to hear because of the background noise, but the irony of the conversation today and how difficult it can be for people, just normal hearing people sometimes, but those that are deaf, the struggles they have with communicating. Now, you're the donor management, you're part of that section of Isharah. What is your role and how did you come about Isharah?
So my journey to Isharah was about a year ago, and it started a little bit differently than Nazma, in that I was interested in BSL, so British Sign Language. I was just really curious about this new language. It was during COVID that I was exploring BSL. Funnily
Sister,
enough,
could I just ask? I do apologise. The interference at the back is slightly louder than your voice, so I don't know if there's any way you could actually sit, maybe in a quieter space, because we don't want to not hear what you're saying.
Let me see if I can switch over to my phone.
Fantastic. And whilst you're doing that, sister, I'm going to go back to Sister Nazma. Sister Nazma, could you quickly give us like the website links or for your web page and your Instagram page, because that's really important.
Yeah, sure. You could find us easily on Instagram. We are Isharah, ALISHARAH. So you can find us there. And we have all our information up to date there, where you can get involved in various ways, whether you want to fundraise, whether you want to come on a residential with us, whether you're interested in joining us for the next Deaf Umrah or the next Deaf Hajj, inshallah. Who knows when that will happen, and when the possibilities might be for that. But
wow.
So we have a whole load of things that you can get involved in.
I was looking at your Instagram page, and I was looking with one of my colleagues on the Inspire FM, and we were like, wow, this is one of the coolest pages we've seen. And it looks so exciting, so vibrant, so inviting, and it looks so inclusive. It actually looked very, very cool. And what I absolutely loved was the quirky projects and programs that you've initiated. But one of the most significant ones, and I think this is where I kind of connected with Tahira about Al-Isharah, was your Deaf Umrah.
Yes.
Talk to us about that.
Yeah, so we went to Umrah. I think this was the third one since the conception of Al-Isharah. The most recent one was in November 2024. Both me and Khansa were able to go, along with the rest of the team. There's other people in the team as well. So we were able to be part of that. And it was amazing. I think there was 46 of us that went in the end. And we supported deaf pilgrims that made the intention to go and do Umrah. And we had a team of experts, and we were able to deliver guidelines and guidance on how to fulfill the obligations and the rituals of Umrah. So we had a team of interpreters, and we had communication support workers, and it was just incredible. The fact that some of these deaf people had actually told us, there's no way we would have been able to do this without Al-Isharah helping us. And one of my amazing moments was when I went and helped a group of ladies to go and do voluntary tawaf on one of the days. And it was just amazing and so overwhelming, and just incredible to watch, these deaf sisters touching the Kaaba for the very first time. And they were just so overwhelmed with emotion. They were just like so grateful, but also excited and childlike with the feelings that they had overcome with. And it was just, it was truly an incredible journey, and very beautiful to watch. And I think it's, we have to also remember that the support that we get from the public, and the generous donations that we always are in receipt of, because without the support from our community, there's no way these projects can be undertaken. So we really do appreciate all the support and all the donations that do come through. This was an incredible journey that we had. And then the year before that, there was another group that were taken along as well. So it's just great to have the numbers increasing of our deaf brothers and sisters that are that fulfill the intention of Umrah.
And also being identified and being recognized and being supported. And this is a key thing, isn't it? It's people coming forward. And do you feel that in the Muslim community, there is stigma still attached to disability and deafness. And what are the barriers that the community is still facing, the deaf Muslim community?
Yeah, unfortunately, I think with everything, there's always good and bad, and there's, wherever we go in life, there's always going to be stigmas. And I think it's just us trying to be able to break these barriers down sometimes. And it could be, just things like being able to train more, Islamic Sign Language interpreters. There's a lack of interpreters. Sometimes if you think about it, a deaf person can't come to certain events because the interpreter's not there. So if the interpreter isn't there, they can't understand or decipher the information that's supposed to be given to them. So things like these, we want to kind of break down. Also encourage mosques to provide British Sign Language services.
Fantastic.
Yes, we want our deaf brothers and sisters to be able to worship comfortably, just like any of us are able to just go into any mosque and be able to worship Allah. It's things like, the khutbah in British Sign Language on Fridays. I don't know if you notice on the screen, we always have an interpreter. And
is this for London though, or is it just London, or have you been able to do this across the country?
So at the moment, we are doing this at East London Mosque, but we would love to do this in different mosques along, around the country. This is something that we are working towards, and I think there's a tour that's going to be arranged for this to kind of happen. So, this is something that we are working towards. And again, these things need support. So,
of course,
if the support is available, it's quicker for us to kind of deliver these necessary projects. We also
very needed.
Very needed. We also want to develop more deaf-friendly Islamic resources. So people like you and I that are hearing, that are able to learn, so that we can communicate and engage with the deaf brothers and sisters, whether it's Islamic signs or just general language. We do host courses in-house as well, where the public are able to kind of learn British Sign Language as well. I think some of the things sometimes, knowledge and awareness is important to kind of stamp out these stigmas that we have in our community about deaf. So within our deaf community, would love to raise awareness and have people to understand. And I think one of the things is education and understanding. If people understand, then they're more willing to kind of empathize with the group of people that are being stigmatized, and it just doesn't kind of sit with the deaf community. It's different kind of stigmas, I guess, within the community.
Indeed. And I'm so delighted. I'm actually really humbled that you've joined us today, Sister Nazma, to talk about Al-Isharah. Folks, if you've joined in to the show, we are talking to Sister Nazma Begum. She's a project lead for Al-Isharah, which is a deaf service provider based in London, who are doing exceptional work with our deaf Muslim brothers and sisters. And also I was speaking to Hansa Mahmood after the break, and she's the donor management. So it kind of will get an insight in how we as a community can support our brothers and sisters with Al-Isharah. Now, Sister Nazma, tell us your social media handles and any upcoming projects that might require maybe volunteers, so forth.
Yes, so our handle on Instagram is Al-Isharah, so that's ALISHARAH. And we also have a website, www.alisharah.com. We have loads of activities and projects that anyone can get involved in, whether you're deaf or hearing. Do reach out to us. Instagram is the best way. Send us a message. And there's loads of projects coming along, especially during Ramadan. If you've got nothing to do, or if you don't have anything planned and you want to get those good deeds in, let us know and we will literally help you fundraise. Will be simple as sharing a link and trying to meet your target. Then we have things like you can get involved in the boat race. We have international trips such as Istanbul Marathon. We've got the Marrakesh Marathon as well. We've got a residential that's coming up. Loads of things that you can get involved in. So do get
super exciting.
Yes, yeah.
It's super exciting. And you even have like a London walk as well that I saw on your Instagram page, which we'll talk about a little bit more after the break.
Sure.
We are heading to the break. I'm still going to be joined by Sister Nazma Begum and Hansa Mahmood to talk about the amazing work that this charity Al Isharah is doing for the deaf Muslim community. I'm absolutely blown away by how fabulous they are, and I'm so delighted to be speaking to them this morning live and direct. We are speaking to them from London, so join me straight off the break for more conversations with Al Isharah. Assalamu alaikum.
This program will continue after the break. Continue listening to Inspire FM. Inspire FM.
Inspire 105.1 FM.
The messenger of God, peace be upon him, said, "A Muslim is a Muslim's brother. He does not wrong him, nor desert him, nor looks down upon him. Remember, piety lies here." And he pointed his finger to his heart 3 times. To belittle one's Muslim brother in thoughts or treatment is enough of evil for a person to do.
Narrated by Abu Hurairah in the collections of Muslim.
And the winner is...
And the winner is...
And the winner is... Your business being heard on the radio.
Become a real winner by advertising your products and services with a memorable campaign here on Inspire FM. Radio advertising's ear-catching, affordable and effective. It's the ideal way to get your business noticed. So find out more today. For details, click on inspirefm.org, then contact us.
Universal Clutches on Cosgrove Way in Luton offer more than just clutch repairs. We also now cover MOTs, servicing, brakes, suspension, and vehicle recoveries. We've got you covered whether you drive a manual or semi-automatic car, van, or truck. We aim to provide a quick and reliable service, and Universal Clutches are an AA and RAC approved garage. For a reliable service you can trust, call 01582 876 300 or find Universal Clutches on Google, Instagram, and Facebook.
Hello, I'm Dr. Sood. If something in your body doesn't feel right, talk to us. The thought it could be cancer can play on your mind, but most people who go for tests find out it's not. Finding out sooner is always better. Whatever the result, your NHS is here for you. Contact your GP practice.
Are you ready to embark on a journey of purpose and impact? The East of England Ambulance Service is recruiting now. Are you seeking training in a new career or looking for a challenge in development? Start your career for life with East. Apply now for roles in frontline emergency operations, control rooms, support services, and non-emergency transport. Visit www.eastamb.nhs.uk and click Join the Team. Make a real difference. Join the East of England Ambulance Service and start your career for life.
This Ramadan, let's bring the heart of our community into the spotlight. Got a dish that's the talk of the table? A recipe passed down for generations? Or maybe a creative twist on a classic? Inspire FM wants to feature you in our special Ramadan cooking show. We're recording now to air your culinary masterpiece this Ramadan. Imagine your dish inspiring thousands as we share the flavors that bring us together during this special month. Don't wait. Spots are limited. Drop us a message today at info@inspirefm.org and let's set up your recording session before Ramadan begins. Cook together and make this Ramadan unforgettable.
Richard didn't want to die, but he couldn't stop himself. The collision didn't kill him, but he wasn't wearing a seatbelt, so he hit the inside of the car. That didn't kill him either, but his internal organs carried on travelling until they hit his rib cage, and his lungs were punctured, and the main artery from his heart was torn. And that's what killed Richard.
From the studios of Inspire FM, the time is now 10:30.
Catch a creative vibe on the Urban Cube with Sister Shamiza.
Good morning, good morning, good morning, and assalamu alaikum. It is 10:30, 3rd of February, and you're listening to me, Shamiza, on Where Else? It's Inspire FM 105.1 FM on the Urban Cube Show, a show that celebrates Muslim arts and lifestyle with creative conversations that inspire, motivate, and engage. And today is no exception. I am joined by two fabulous guests on the show today, all the way from London, talking to me about an extraordinary service, an extraordinary charity and organization called Isharah, which is a deaf service provider and whose main focus is to provide education, inclusion, and equality for the deaf community. The organization goes above and beyond to make Islam accessible through providing Umrah packages for deaf Muslims and a translation of the Holy Quran in British Sign Language. How extraordinary. I've had the pleasure of speaking to Nazma Begum on the first part of the show. She is a project lead and she shared with us her journey with this phenomenal charity. And also I'm joined by Hansa Mahmood as well, the donor, who is the donor, part of the donor management, and we'll be finding out about her journey as well with Isharah. We heard about how they have been taking the deaf Muslim brothers and sisters to Umrah, which kind of was amazing to listen to. And they also provide so many amazing services. So do give them a hit, give them a follow on their social media handles, and we'll find out a little bit more about how you can do that with my wonderful guests. Now, I'm going to be joined by Hansa Mahmood, who is speaking to us from the Isharah office. Assalamu alaikum, Hansa.
Wa alaikum assalam.
Thank you so very much. I'm very well. Thank you for joining us again. You are speaking to us from the Isharah office. Tell us, what does that look like this morning for our listeners listening in?
So there's an assumption normally when people think of a deaf environment, a deaf home, a deaf school, that it's going to be incredibly quiet. But it's the opposite because, of course, there is noise and it sometimes ends up being more noisy than a hearing office. So I've been having to shuffle around and control the volume. But what's really interesting for me as well when it came to my exposure to the deaf community is that they're not all the same. Deaf people don't all experience complete silence. They're also hearing sometimes quite painful sounds. So I think in the UK, what's legally understood to be hearing disability is being profoundly deaf, being hard of hearing, and then there's another sort of condition called tinnitus, which some people do experience sometimes later in life. So they will be raised and brought up with their hearing, and then over time they will lose it, or they will start to hear ringing, constant ringing all the time. And so that was an eye-opener for me because I always assumed that deaf people just couldn't hear anything completely. But a lot of times they're actually going through a lot of pain in their ears, and they are pushing through, and they just need a little patience. I know Sister Nazma was talking about an event recently that we had of trying to interpret for the deaf community, and it was one of the first times. It was quite a renowned Muslim event. One of the first times I saw firsthand and I heard firsthand people's comments towards the deaf people there, and the lack of patience that they had for them. And we were just talking about what some of the difficulties the deaf community faces within the Muslim community. I say some of it is attitude. Just the attitude towards deafness is a little bit. I don't think people fully understand the nature of what deafness is and what it means to be deaf and to be part of the deaf community. And I'm hoping that our organisation, by being more out there, by taking part in your lovely radio show, are going to help show people that there is a big world out there outside of the hearing world. There is a big world that the deaf people exist in that is just as vibrant as ours. And we just want to sort of bridge the gap between the two.
Mashallah, and thank you so much for doing that so effectively. I'm so inspired listening to you, Hansa, and I'm sure our listeners would like to know what your role is with the charity and how you have got involved.
Mine was a little. It was like even to this day when I look back, I'm amused and pleasantly surprised at how my journey started. I finished my sign language, so I started it in COVID when we were all being encouraged to learn a language and do something with our time. And I knew a friend of mine told me of a course in a college nearby who were doing sign language. So I did it through COVID. I really enjoyed it. I went up the levels out of pure enjoyment. I had no interactions with deaf people. I didn't have deaf family members. I didn't work with deaf people. I just was really fascinated by the language. And then I finished my third year learning sign language, and I was like, it's really encouraged that by that point you are interacting with deaf people. And the options I had to meet deaf people were at the local pub. And obviously that didn't align with me. And so then for that reason, I didn't really go to deaf social gatherings. And I thought, I wonder if there are deaf Muslims out there in the UK. And I searched it up, and Isharah were the first people that came up. And I saw them on Instagram. I saw a video of who's my colleague now, Yasin. It was his story of how isolation was for him in COVID. And I thought, wow, that's so beautiful that they've given us first-person insight. So I heard that they were doing a Deaf Day event in my institute where I was studying. So I turned up on a weekend to meet them. I saw the team, and I was like, yeah, I'm going to volunteer with them. And so I started volunteering every Friday. And I stuck to them like glue. I didn't let them choose me. I chose them. I was like, okay, I'm going to volunteer with them. And then I just kept coming, and I kept coming, and they had different things that they needed help with all the time. No one day of volunteering was the same. And it was such a mind and heart and soul connection. Every part of me felt involved. And then there was an opportunity to work with them for a year, and I took it. And that's now been my role as the donor manager, where essentially I work with the hearing in those, especially those who are supporting Isharah and have been supporting Isharah throughout the years, and also just making the language BSL more accessible to hearing people, because we do offer BSL courses, because the more people are aware of the language, the more they can pass on what they know. There's so much gap in the knowledge that deaf people don't have. Some of them, I just recently was approached by a beautiful young lady. She's in her mid-20s, who just this year found out that she's not absolved from praying salat. She has to pray. She had been told previously many years ago that you're deaf, you're not going to have to worry about it. And then a family friend of hers was like, no, hold on a minute, you will be accountable. You're a grown adult. You will be accountable on the day of judgment to pray. And so she came to us and she's like, I need to know how to do wudu. I don't know how to do wudu. I don't know what prayers I need to pray, how many cycles, how many rak'ah. And so I'm working with her closely and sort of trying to help bridge that gap. There's so many things that we take for granted and we do every day that they don't have access to. But they're watching us. They're watching us and they're seeing us do it, and they're seeing us have the enjoyment of it, and they're not able to experience that themselves, which is a shame.
Just hearing that experience, the fact that the lack of understanding and the barriers that the deaf community have faced, the Muslim deaf community, where they've not been given the right information about where they stand Islamically regarding prayer has been quite astounding to listen to. Folks, if you're listening into the show, I am joined by no other than two remarkable sisters, Hansa Mahmood and Nazma Begum, on the show today. They have joined me from Al Isharah, which is a Muslim deaf service provider. Now, Hansa Mahmood is talking to us about her role in donor management, and I've just been quite blown away by her actual passion and conviction for this charity and the enthusiasm and energy that she's sharing with us. And it has really kind of just opened my eyes, my mind, to the barriers that our deaf Muslim brothers and sisters have faced. Sister, what would you like to say? Kansa, to our listeners this morning? What would you like them to do to get involved in? And if there's anybody who has a member of their family who is deaf in Luton, can they connect with Al Isharah in London?
That is such a powerful question, and I ask myself this all the time, because even with my loved ones in my circle, not all of them are aware of what deafness is and what it means to work with deaf. I think one of the best things I would say to the hearing community is love for your brother what you love for yourself. There are things that even to this day, where they touch my heart, and prior to having any connections with the deaf community, I wouldn't have thought of this. But now I do wonder, if I am having so much joy with this thing, how can they access it? And my advice to myself in earlier years, and my continued advice would be, always think of them. Whenever you find something that you love and you want to share it, think of them, of the deaf community. Does this video need subtitles? I heard this video and it moved me. Or I know there's a sporting event for Muslims. What will the deaf be able to access it? Will they get that sense of community that I'm getting? Like a neighborhood, when you make a meal and you enjoy it and you want to share it with your neighbors, in the same way, anytime anything good you experience, whether it doesn't have to be limited to Islam, if it's good, if it's knowledge, and it benefits you, think of the deaf, because they don't have access to it in the same way that you do. That would be my best advice. And to people in Luton, to the deaf community in Luton, we have one of our Al Isharah school branches there, and that's sort of like our stronghold at the moment. Inshallah, we do want it to branch into more services, not just our Al Isharah school. But what I would recommend is volunteer with that school, see if they have job opportunities. If there's opportunity for you to branch out into something else, and the deaf community are quite multifaceted, so they have skills in all sorts of fields. If you can bring that skill into the school, like if you are an artist and you love to draw, and you can find a way to incorporate that into the curriculum for the deaf children, by all means. Our schools have their contact details. You can reach them through us as well, through the office in London. But I would definitely say Al Isharah School would be the best place to start. And like Sister Nazma already mentioned, we are looking into potentially having a khutbah or Friday sermons sort of around the country. And Luton would be a brilliant spot for us to do in the future, inshallah.
Inshallah. So what are the plans for Ramadan for Al Isharah and our deaf Muslim brothers and sisters?
Yeah, sorry, one more time. I missed you.
Plans for Ramadan for Al Isharah?
Plans for Ramadan. What we're doing now at the moment is we're trying to recruit as many people to get on board and to spread our message. That from one of our main sort of goals this year is from your hands to their hearts. So whatever your hands possess, if that is wealth, if that is knowledge, if that is your time, from your hands, deliver it to their hearts directly, so that they're not having to sort of trudge through all of what's out there, and we can deliver it to them directly, and we'd happily be the relay between the hearing and the deaf world, especially when it comes to Islam, and giving them an accurate depiction of Islam, because there's so much out there, there's so much that can distract hearing people, let alone the deaf people. So we want to recruit as many people to support us, to champion us, to be ambassadors of Al Isharah, and to get as many people to donate to us during Ramadan as well. This is a concept I wasn't aware of until I joined Al Isharah, was the idea of automating your donations. So I was a bit sluggish. I would donate myself whenever I remembered. I would donate, and then there are moments when you don't remember, and that's an opportunity that you could have maxed out on. So that's something I'm trying to implement again this year, myself and with my loved ones. Is let's find a way to make our donations regular, automatic, and then the reward will be such as well, because you won't remember what you've done. One of the hadith is give from your, I'm paraphrasing here, give from your right hand such that your left hand doesn't know. So we're trying to implement that this year for the wider community. And I think Sister Nazma will probably have a few specialised projects that she herself is working on during Ramadan. But those are the two that I'm most passionate about.
Indeed, I love that. From your hand to your heart. You can't get more poetic than that. It's beautiful. Mashallah. Who does your marketing? You got to give them a shout out. I really like your Instagram page.
That is lovely feedback. At the moment, it's a team effort. We've put all our minds together and we do it together as a team.
Fantastic. And I love this. That's wonderful. I love the community. You're so involved and engaged, and there's such a community feel, even just listening to you both. Now, do throw us your social media handle again, Hansa.
Our Instagram handle is at Isharah, that's ALISHARAH. And the same goes for our TikTok, Facebook, where you'll find us at that handle.
Wonderful. And you have a walk coming up, don't you, across London?
Yes.
So tell us a little bit about that. Maybe that could be a way in for our hearing community to help support the deaf community.
Yes, I think that would be a good introduction into the deaf community, because they have their way. They have their way of connecting with one another. They're very welcoming. They're very warm, and it can be intimidating though if you're going into an environment where you are so unfamiliar with the language, with how they connect and how they talk. The walk and talk, the deaf walk and talk, or walk and sign, is a good way to sort of baby step your way into the deaf community, where essentially you walk as a team, as a group, down in a few streets of London. You either discuss certain sites and see settings. You can sort of pick which people you feel most connected to, or it can just simply be a walk. There are some deaf people who, for the most part, are so isolated that for them, even if they don't talk and sign, it's just a feeling of being amongst a group of people and not being alone. And just being amongst company of like-minded people, people who resemble you or just like you. And it's just a good opportunity to be somewhere familiar. If you are from London, if you're not from London, it's a good way for you to get to know the city, and not feel the pressure of being in the hot seat where you've got to communicate face to face, especially if you don't understand sign language.
Amazing. Walk and talk sounds super exciting. And a wonderful introduction to the two worlds of communities coming together. I wanted to ask you, what is the age limit or ages that you have attending these sessions, and when do these sessions actually happen?
So the walk and talk sessions are open to all. If you are a child that's below the age of 16, there is an expectation that, depending on your circumstances, of course, that you'll be with an accompanied adult. We've got our residential we've also planned for February. That's something we do with the deaf group as well. We try to do it annually, and we take them away on a sort of 3-night, 2-night trip. There we also have, it's open to 16 plus. If you want to bring someone who's a little younger, obviously with safeguarding and other sort of needs, we have expectations for there to be a guardian. But with the walk and talk, because of the nature of it and because it's local and there's no any sort of accommodation aspect to it, it's open to all. There's no upper age limit. You can be as old, as mobile, as if you want to. I mean, we've got individuals who are wheelchair users who also join us. So it's open to all. We're about accommodating as opposed to restricting who's able to attend.
Fabulous. Once again, do go on to their website, Instagram page, and TikTok for Al Isharah with all these wonderful, wonderful activities that they've got happening. It seems on a very, very regular and well organized manner. Folks, you are listening to the Urban Cube Show. The time is 10:48. I'm joined by two absolutely wonderful guests all the way from London this morning, giving me their time and sharing the wonderful work that Al Isharah do. This is a deaf service provider in London, really making an impact with the deaf community, the Muslim deaf community, from having Umrah deaf Umrah packages for the deaf community is just one of the key things, areas that they have been exploring, which is phenomenal. folks, if you've got any questions, do connect with us. If you've got any words of encouragement for the charity, please do send a shout out to them. I'm just quite blown away actually by this beautiful service, and it just fills my heart with so much warmth, knowing that there are people out there making a difference to members of our community that are kind of just not, I'm not saying they're not valued enough, or maybe just not, the spotlight isn't on them. And we should be providing as much support to all members of our community, and in particular the disabled and deaf community. I'm going to come back to Sister Nazma to just find out a little bit more about her day-to-day routine, because I understand, Sister Nazma, you're a mother of young children, mashallah, as well as a project lead for Al Isharah. So how do you balance the two?
So I think, to be fair, we've got an amazing team. So we are very lucky in that sense, where we're able to do, I mean, who would have known that me and Khansa are going to be on a radio show this morning?
I love it.
The work that Al Isharah does. It's one of those things that I guess passion leads us where we are today, I suppose. Khansa's journey is totally different to my journey. And so as the rest of the team, the rest of the team, some of the team members are actually deaf. So we're having to communicate with them. Some of them also have access to work help as well. So the day changes. No 2 days are ever the same. And I think one of the best things about working with the Al Isharah is we're able to help in ways that we have, like, in our capacity. So we bring an idea forward, and if it's suitable for the deaf community and we think that it's going to benefit them, then we go for it. And again, with the help of the team, the support that we get from the community, our donations, all of these things make it possible. So yeah, it's just, this time next year we might be in a totally different place. So it is one of those things where I'm just taking each day as it comes, and really just enjoying being able to help the people that really need our help. And also it works both ways. I think when we help people, we also find reward in that as well. And inshallah, we live in hope that Allah rewards us as well, because we need the help just as much as these deaf brothers and sisters need help. So it kind of does work kind of hand in hand. So we're only in this earth for a very short time, and for me it's kind of making the most of that time that we have, and also the health that I've got currently, I'm trying to make the most of it. Yeah, I just hope that Allah accepts the work that we do from us. And I just want to also kind of highlight that all of this is only possible with the amazing team that we have in the London Muslim Centre, and also the support that we get from the public year on year.
Indeed. Ameen to your du'as, and Ameen to the goodness, mashallah, that you're bringing through this through Al Isharah, because like you said, it's not just for the deaf community, it's also for us as well as the hearing community too. Folks, you're listening to the Urban Cube. We've got about a couple of minutes left on the show, and I'm joined by no other than the wonderful Nazma Begum, and that's whom you've just been listening to, and the amazing Khansa Mahmood. And Al Isharah is a deaf service provider, and they are doing extraordinary work by making Islam accessible, by providing Umrah packages for deaf Muslims, and a translation of the Holy Quran in British Sign Language. How extraordinary is phenomenal. Do follow them on their social media handles, so forth, and do check out their web page as well. One more time, Nazma, before we head to the end of the show, do throw all those handles out to our listeners so they can connect with you.
So our Instagram handle is at Isharah. That's ALISHARAH. And we are available on Facebook and TikTok as well. And our British Sign Language Quran, which is being interpreted right now, I think 2 juz have been completed. And this is available on our YouTube channel as well. So head over there and have a listen and also watch for it, because the deaf people can't hear, but they can see. So they are able to learn all of the surahs and what they mean by looking at those YouTube channels and the surahs that we have published.
Extraordinary. Thank you so very much for joining us today, both of you, Nazma Begum and Hansa Mahmood. It's been an absolute pleasure to be in your company this morning. You really have motivated me and made my start to my Monday fabulous. So thank you for doing that, and thank you for joining us at such short notice as well.
Thank you so much for having us, and hopefully you can also fundraise for us this Ramadan, inshallah.
Thank you so much for having us. It's been lovely.
You're very, very welcome. Please keep doing what you're doing, and also keep us in your du'as, as we will keep you guys as well.
Inshallah.
Folks, that was the absolutely wonderful Sister Nazma Begum and Hansa Mahmood from the charity Al Isharah, which provides services to the deaf community. Absolutely wonderful charity. I hope you've enjoyed listening to that conversation as much as I've had it. It is the end of the show, so keep smiling until I speak to you next week.
Coming up next, Awaz-e Haq with Hafiz Ijaz.